Hey everybody, the Latvian Gambit, or Latvian counter Gambit, starts with e4, e5, knight f3, and then f5. So it's different from the Schliemann defense in such a way that black doesn't play knight c6 uh, to what, which invites the Ruy Lopez bishop b5 from white. So here white can take this e pawn, which is the main line, and then after the usual queen f6, white can choose between d4, d6, knight c4, f takes e, or the immediate knight c4. And this gives the advantage that white can open the center with d3. For example, if black plays a little bit in a silly manner, then and then perhaps e4 is winning for white. So that's why most common is queen f7, and then knight e3, retreating the knight to safety. And here black usually responds c6, I guess planning to connect all the pawns. And while this is still gambiting the pawn. I mean, white can take the pawn and then something like this, or he can decline it, which is more popular with d3, and then takes d5 and castle. And here Jeremy Silman, international master, has done some research in this position. It's an interesting line. Well, for one reason, I haven't checked it out yet. So knight a4, bishop d6, c4, d4, knight c2, c5, b4, knight e7, knight takes c5, bishop takes, b takes, knight c6. Seems a little bit contrived if you ask me. Castles, knight d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop f5, and oops. And now either rook d8 or rook c6 gives black a good drawing chances, even though he's down a pawn. But and he later argued that on move 10, instead of knight a4, if white plays b4, a pawn sacrifice, then after bishop takes, this should be close to winning for white. Maybe due to the open black king, or if bishop retreats, then this is should be winning. So the old bishop d6 instead of bishop c5 might be black's best try because of this b4 pawn sack variation. This is kind of older way of playing, but that's what Silvan argued, that maybe that's better than bishop c5 due to this very long variation. And also possible is instead of queen f6, just knight c6, offering to exchange. And here white can play d4, knight c3, e takes f, and queen e2, or check from here, and go for the rook. Here if black takes on e4, then d4 is strong for white, letting this bishop out and the other one, perhaps playing bishop h6 soon, and so that's why queen e7, a defensive move, and now d3, or also knight c3, knight b4, d3 should be winning for white. Here takes, so d5, bishop c5, and d takes e, e takes f, don't be afraid to do this in your own games to expose your king. And rook e6 winning. So those were variations from knight takes e5, and that was the most extensive part. So now we can look at bishop c4, which can also get quite tactical after a sequence of moves. Again, allowing the king to be vulnerable. And here queen takes c1 or c6. and is this winning the queen? The threat is knight d5. Followed by knight d6 checkmate, I think. So this queen doesn't have time to move away. Okay, so yeah, that's one possibility from the bishop c4 variation. For sure, it's not forced. And oh, it says here instead of queen g5, nowadays just d5, the Swedenborg variation. And here, if check, then check again, check from here, and bishop e2 or even f1, and but sharper than this, of course, is just to take on g6, give the rook, and then queen d4, bishop e6. Here white is up material, but his position is liable to, like, or it's about to collapse maybe. So that's why usually white just takes here, more modest, and then like this. And there's one more, or actually a couple of more third moves for white. Knight c3, and here black has two main responses. Knight f6, here bishop c4, or also e takes f5 is possible. And here takes, oops, d5, knight takes d5, allowing this check, and this giving the rook, but and this is an endgame where white has 4 pawns for a minor piece, or taking here instead of knight f6, and then queen f6, and here white can choose from knight c4, which can transpose to the main line, or d4 or f4, and black can also play d6, and then d4 transposes to the Philidor counterattack, which usually comes from e4, e5, knight f3, d6, d4, f5. So it's also a relative of this Latvian gambit. And White can also just take, and here e4, this is recommended by some also queen e2 here, or knight d4, or even knight g1, leading to a sort of king's gambit with colors reversed. So that's why taking on f5 is maybe not good. Also d4, and this also leads to sharp play, and white can offer a piece sacrifice here with knight c3 or knight d2, but black seems to have adequate resources against both. So yeah, I had to take a couple of takes there. There were some mistakes in this article in Wikipedia about this opening, so I had to kind of reason what would be the right move that they're meaning, or what would be the right move number or order, or so. But I'll try to stitch this up together, and so watch it myself also, so maybe I learn something. Thanks for watching. Bye.